Questions and comments. Question et commentaire. The Honourable Member for Winnipeg North.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I congratulate my friend across the way. You know, Pierre Poilievre was the parliamentary secretary at one time to Stephen Harper. And when Stephen Harper was elected Prime Minister, it was back in February the 6th, Mr. Speaker, back in 2006. You wouldn't believe how long it took him to present a budget. That wasn't presented until May, Mr. Speaker, of that year. Now, we just had a Prime Minister elected on April the 28th. And we have the Conservatives taking the direction from their leader, Mr. Speaker, saying that we have to have a budget, when in fact the current Prime Minister has been Prime Minister since the election of April 28. My question is, does he believe that might be a bit of a double standard that's being applied? Because Stephen Harper was given far more grace than the current Prime Minister, yet look what we have to overcome yet.
The Honourable Member for Aurora, Oak Ridges, Richmond Hill.
Mr. Speaker, I thank my honourable friend opposite for his question. Mr. Speaker, the current Prime Minister has touted his background as a businessman and as a banker as credentials for the office that he currently holds. He would never loan money to somebody if they didn't present their financial picture. They would never loan money to a business if they didn't present a budget. He is now asking this Parliament today, it's 2025, I would remind my honourable member opposite, to give him a blank check of $500 billion. And then he'll tell us what he's done with that money 6 months down the road. I think it's my responsibility as our parliamentarian and of all parliamentarians to have an opportunity to review that budget and every dollar that is spent, because it's not our money, it's taxpayer money, to review every dollar so that we can have a say, we can have input, and we can...
Questions and comments. Question et commentaire. L'honorable député de...
The Honourable Member for Gaspésie-Laine-Listigouche. Thank you very much. I'd like to give my colleague an opportunity to tell this House why, in his opinion, the Liberal government is not tabling a budget at such an important time in our history.
The Honourable Member for Aurora, Oak Ridges, Richmond Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'd like to thank the honourable member for his question. I wish I knew the answer as to why. One can only surmise that there are things they don't want us to know. Transparency is an attribute that one cannot attach to the Liberal government. We've seen over the last 10 years, in fact, just in the last Parliament, that Parliament was shut down for a number of months because they refused to provide information that parliamentarians were entitled to, that Canadians were entitled to. So by not producing a budget, they're raising a big question mark as to the integrity of what they're intending to do with Canadian money. Thank you.
Questions and comments. The Honourable Member for Kitchener South Hespeler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Welcome back to the member from Aurora, Oak Ridges, Richmond Hill. It's nice to see him. I note with pleasure that the member from Winnipeg North is also reminiscing about his time served in this House during the Harper government. And I recognize that the member who just gave his speech also served during that time. I'm wondering if he could share with us some of his fond reminiscences from that time.
Member for Aurora, Oak Ridges, Richmond Hill.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to thank my learned friend for the excellent question. Mr. Speaker, it was a time, certainly in the Harper government, that I was extremely proud to be a part of. It was a time when we were completely transparent, where ministers presented their bills, where budgets were presented on time, and where there was accountability. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to say that our Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, was never called under the carpet by the Ethics Commissioner, something that the Liberal Prime Minister was quite challenged. If I'm not mistaken, it was 2 or 3 times that he had to present himself and was found guilty by the Ethics Commissioner of violations of the rules and regulations of this country. So I'm proud to say that I served in this House with, in my opinion, one of the best Prime Ministers to have ever served this Parliament. Thank you.
A very brief question, the member for Madawaska-Restigouche.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Member for Madawaska-Restigouche. Well, in my writing, The current Prime Minister's predecessor helped fund various housing projects in my riding, whereas the leader of the Conservatives, Pierre Poilievre, was opposed to that. So what would my colleague say to that?
Thank you. I thank the member for his question. Mr. Speaker, I see that the member is young. It's unfortunate that the government has created a situation where home ownership is very difficult for young people, and certainly, Mr. Speaker, paying $56 billion a year in interest is not going to provide an opportunity for the government.